So good evening everyone, welcome back to my channel. My channel is all about having fun making coffee, including roasting and making espresso, making coffee using V60, mocha pot, and etc, etc. Right, so these are the things I do for this channel. Right, on top of that I also do some 3D design and printed coffee accessories, and I would like to share them with all of you in this channel. Right, so today our focus is really to do a bean to cup experience within about 30 minutes. So what do I mean by bean to cup? Which means we're going to roast the unroasted green beans, right? And today the main character, which is our bean here, is actually the Kenya Peaberries beans, right? This is my favorite beans, right? At the moment, right? So we're going to show you how I'm going to use my M2 sniper roaster, right, to complete the roasting in about 10 to 15 minutes time, right? And immediately I'll cool down the beans and we'll grind the beans and we'll do a V60 drip coffee and we'll see how it goes. And this is actually the first video in the year 2021. And I would like to take this opportunity to wish everyone a happy new year, and please continue to like my video and subscribe to my channel, and let's have fun. So this is my current setup. This is my M2 sniper, right? It's a home roaster machine. The capacity of this machine is about 400 gram, right? And this is the bean container whereby you can store your bean temporarily, right? This is where you empty the beans inside, so the beans will drop into the drum and the drum will rotate, and there's actually fins in the drum to help to spread out the beans during the roasting stage, right? And you can see this is where eventually when the roasting is done, the beans are going to drop from here and back to the bean container, right? And I have this thing has a fan actually, right, to cool down the beans, but the fan is not actually very powerful. So I have this fan and sieve setup whereby it can really cool the beans really very fast. Right, so let's get started. So let's do the preheat. Currently I'm setting the air temperature to about 180 degrees Celsius. So let's do heat up. Right, at the start we'll max out the heating. And we'll switch on the stir as well. Stir is kept at 100%. Right, so let me show you. Right, so now you can see that the heating element inside the roaster has started and has already turned red color, and the drum is rotating pretty fast. Right, this is to prevent actually the scorching of beans, right, if let's say the drum turns too slowly. Right, so now I'll be closing the door, right, where the beans drop out, and make sure that the top hopper is closed as well, so that the heat will be trapped inside there. Right, so now we'll be waiting for the temperature to go up. Right, so as you can see, currently the blue color line represents the air temperature, and the red color line represents the bean temperature, right, as you can see at the bottom left corner on the screen. Right, so we'll be waiting for a short while, right, for the temperature to climb up, right. Right, so I'm actually roasting at my balcony. Right, so let me bring you to the view of outside. Right, it's about 6 plus coming to 7 PM already, and it's still pretty bright in Singapore. Right, so this is something good about roasting at home with a balcony. Right, your exhaust can actually be vented out to the air, and the good thing about this M2 roaster is the exhaust gas is actually not too bad, and it doesn't smell really bad. and it's not really very smoky, so it doesn't really affect your neighbors, right? So it's pretty good. Right, so let me bring you back to the screen. Right, this thing comes with Artisan Software as well. Right, it uses the Mazdak is a meter which allow you to read the temperature and feed the reading into your PC, right? And whereby you can use your Artisan Software to see the roasting profile, right? Very soon, this machine, the M2 Sniper, will be having an upgrade. Right, this machine can be upgraded to auto roast profile. That means you can just press a single button and the machine will roast to the profile that you set. This upgrade will be provided by my friend who are the importer of this machine in Singapore, right? So once my machine got upgraded to the auto roast system, I will definitely show you guys again, right? But meanwhile, you can see that I rarely do roasting on Artisan Software because I prefer to use manual by using this control and by eyeballing the graph, as well as you smell the beans and look at the color changes during the different stage of the roasting process. This is something I prefer rather than just relying on looking at the Artisan graph, right? Of course, when the auto roast comes back in, then probably I will have to depend more on the software that's inside. But at the moment, I'm only doing small batch roasting, so this is more than enough. Right, so you can see now the air temperature is 143 degrees Celsius, the bean temperature is 145, so our target is 180 degrees Celsius. Right, this thing has got a timer function, right, and usually I will start the time when I drop the beans, right? So later on you will see, right? So right now it's only past about 5 minutes, and you can see that the machine is almost ready to the temperature that we wanted it to be there, right? So usually I'll charge at 180 degrees Celsius. And for today, we're going to show you, I am going to show you how roasting can be done really easily on the M2 Sniper. And immediately after roasting, I'll cool the beans. And immediately after cooling the beans, we'll grind the beans and we'll do some drip coffee pour over. And we'll see how the roasting is being done and how well we have roasted today, right? So that's basically what we are going to do in this video today, right? So it's basically a bean to cup, really bean to cup. That means from green beans, and not from roasted beans, from green beans all the way to getting coffee in a cup, right? All these can be done within 20 minutes, right? So today's video is going to be a bit long because I don't want to cut short the video. I want you to see what actually happened, so the video is going to be slightly longer today, so please be patient with me, right? So that you can see the entire process, right? Okay, now you can see, right, the air temperature has already reached 180 degrees Celsius, right? And let me bring you to the roaster, right? You can see that the roaster, the heating tube inside is now not lighted up anymore because it has a thermostat there to control the temperature. So right now the inside is 180 degrees Celsius, right? You can see it's turning up again because the temperature has dropped below 180. So the motherboard at the back detected the drop in temperature. I mean the temperature prop detect the drop in temperature and immediately try to heat up the machine again, right? So we will wait for a short while longer, right, for the temperature to reach steady, and then we will charge the beans, right? We will drop the beans into the roaster, right? So now we are past 7 minutes plus, 7 minutes plus to 8 minutes. The roasting process is about 9 minutes or so, right? And after that, the cooling of the bean takes less than 3 or 4 minutes, right? So just be patient with me today, right? Okay, now temperature is the bean temperature is already reached 180, right? The air temperature is still climbing, so once it hit 180 degrees Celsius, right, we'll drop the beans inside. Right, it's 179 now. Okay, you can see that the light is off here again, so that means the machine is ready. So let me drop the beans now. Alright, let's start the timer. Right, so now the timer has started. And the beans that we are roasting today is the Kenya Peaberries. I really like the peaberry. The profile of the beans is really very bright, very fruity, and I really enjoy the Kenya beans. It's really good when it's roasted right. So now you can see that once you drop the beans, the bean temperature will drop drastically, and it will drop all the way until you start to heat the lower temperature, and we call this the turning point, and it will start to rise up again, right? And this machine actually record the rate of roast, right? Of course, currently the rate of roast is at negative value because the temperature drop is too drastic over the short period of time. Hence, it's registering a very low, and in fact a negative rate of roast value, right? And you can see also the bean temperature is only 93 degrees Celsius and it's increasing, right? So now let me bring you back. Right, so you can see the bean, the drum is actually rotating at 100%, right? This M2 Sniper can also control how fast or how much smoke you want to discharge. And normally for peaberries, I will control the fan at 0% all the way before first crack. And once first crack happen, I will increase the fan exhaust fan speed to 60% and reduce the heat to about 60% from 100%, right? So this is just my own personal preference when I roast the Kenya Peaberries, right? So now you can see that the rate of roast is 5, so it's pretty steady. Normally I would like to keep my rate of roast between 3 to 5, right, so that it doesn't roast too quickly. Now it's a bit too fast. Right, but it is still in a very unsteady stage because the temperature is trying to climb up. So I'll just leave it for now, right? So now we have been roasting the bean has been dropped for about 2 minutes plus. Okay, normally I would expect the first crack to happen when the red color bean temperature graph intersect the air temperature graph, which is blue color. When the red color curve intersect the blue color, that is when roughly the first crack will happen, right? That's according to my own experience, right? It may vary for you, right? So you can take that as a pointer when you actually own this machine and try to roast yourself. Right, so now you can see the sky is getting darker. Right, it has been raining for the past few days, and today's weather is really good. It's not raining, right? So it's a very good day to roast coffee. Right, later on I will try to fast forward the part whereby I don't really talk much, because at this stage the beans are actually browning, right? Okay, let me show you. You can actually use a sampling stick to check the status of the roast. Right, this is the stick. Right, you can actually turn it, right, and bring it out. Right, you can see the color is getting brown, right? Let's try that again. Turn. Right. Okay, now it has passed almost 5 minutes now, right? And if you look at the graph closely, right, the red color bean temperature is almost intersecting with the blue color air temperature now, right? So at this point, you have to check the status of the roast, right? Right, it's getting dark, so let me switch on the flashlight so that it's easier for you to see. Right, it's turning brown. Right, you can see some smoke coming out from here, right? Because I haven't switched on the fan, so the exhaust gas is not being vented out yet. Right, we have passed about 15 minutes plus 2 into the video. Right, so now you can see that the graph is almost intersecting. You can see that. So I'm expecting the first crack to happen very soon. Let's check the beans again. I can hear the first crack already. Not too sure whether it's captured on camera. Right, so you can see the first crack happens at about almost 7 minutes. Right, I'm sure you can hear that now. Right, so when first crack happen, right, I'll be switching on the discharge smoke button, and I will start to vent at 60%. Right, and I will start to reduce the heat to 60% as well. Right. And one very convenient features about this M2 roaster is it actually has a drawer here, right? And this drawer actually helps to trap down all the chaff that's been removed from the coffee seeds, right? So it's really a very neat and convenient features which really keep the cleanliness of the surrounding, right? That doesn't mean that it doesn't collect all the chaff, but you will manage to collect about 80 to 90% of the chaff, right? Which is reducing the mess by quite a bit. Let's check the beans again. Right, the color is pretty nice now. Right, so I'm aiming for about a medium roast, right? Medium, light to medium roast. So let me try to smell the beans. Quite good. Let's check that again. Right, the color is very nice now. Let's try again. Okay, so now you can see that we have been roasting for about 9 minutes, which is there about the roasting time for the Kenya Peaberries. So next I'll be dropping the beans very soon. So I'll be getting the drawer, I mean the container, leave it here, and then at the turn of the knob, right, and you lift this door up, and the beans will be dropped out. Right, and the moment the bean drop out, you will switch on the cooling fan here. Right, there's actually a cooling fan here. Switch it on. Right, it will cool the beans by drawing the air away from the beans. Right, let me show you the fan. Right, you can see the two fan there. It's pretty loud. Right, the fan draw air away from the bean so that it keeps the beans cool. Right, so once all the bean has dropped down, I will close the cover. Okay, so to speed up the cooling stage, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to switch off this cooling fan here. Right, it's quite noisy, this fan. And the next moment, I'm going to drop the beans into this setup here. Right, you can see there's still smoke coming out from there. And the next thing, I'm going to switch on the fan. Right, this is actually the fan that's able to rotate. Right, and you can see the moment I switch on the fan, the shaft is going to fly up. Right, let me get a brush. Right, so I'll try to brush it. You can see the shaft is flying all over the place. Right, even though most of the shaft has been collected, right, you can see that the shaft is there's still quite plenty of shaft around. Right. I'll probably design something to use a vacuum cleaner to suck out all the shaft while I do this cooling. So you can see I can use my hand to touch it already because it's already been cooled to about warm. Right, it's no longer very hot. Right, okay, most of the shaft has been removed and the bean has been cooled down. Right, it's pretty cool now. Right, so you can see the color is actually very beautiful. Right, it's I think it's about medium roast now. Right, but it's perfect for pour over. Right, so let's try to brew coffee now. Right, so I'm now inside the living room, right, my living room, and I'm going to set up my kettle so that I can boil some water. Right, just give me a moment. Right, so now I'll be using my Smart Grinder Pro, right, to grind the beans. Basically now my Smart Grinder Pro is a dedicated grinder for pour over. Right, I seldom use this grinder for espresso anymore, since I get my quick meal Apollo Evo 060 burr grinder for espresso, and I've also recently purchased the Eureka Mignon, right, Specialita, right, and I have a niche coming in about March, so I'll be using this for pour over only. Okay, let's weigh some beans. Right, I'm going to do about 30 grams of beans. Right, so we are having about 30 grams. Right, okay, so let's dump the beans into the hopper. Right, so my setting on my Smart Barista Pro for pour over is 43. Right, activate the burner again. Oh, the smell is really very good. Right, so now let's try to bring the ground over. Right, so now I'll be heating up the water. Right, it's really good to have a kettle that is induction able to do over induction cooled hopper. Right, so the heating of water is really fast. Right, while waiting for the water to heat up, right, let's get ready the filter paper. Right, this is a standard O2 V60 paper. Right, there's unbleached. Right, so it's slightly brown in color. And this kettle comes with an analog thermometer on top, so you can actually see roughly the temperature of the water that's inside there. So this is another convenient feature, right? This is not the original Hario, right? This is something that I bought over AliExpress, which is pretty good, right? For about $30. I think it's about $30 to $40 Singapore dollar. Right, it's pretty cheap. And having been able to use induction hopper is really an added bonus. Okay, now the temperature is almost hitting about 80 degrees Celsius. Right, water is almost ready. Right, okay, so now let's wet the filter paper, and while doing wetting of the filter paper, you also try to get rid of the taste on the filter paper itself. Right, so be generous when you do this. Right, so the remaining water, I'll be using it to heat up my cup as well. Right, so now you can pour in the coffee that we have just roasted. Right. Right, and make sure you zero your weighing scale. Right, I'm following the James Hoffman method of V60 brewing, so I will be digging a small hole at the center. Right, once you start to pour water, you start the timer on the weighing scale as well. And the first stage is called the blooming, so I'm just going to add a bit of water so that you will wet most of the coffee ground. Right, so I'll give you a shake so that the water is soaking every single ground. All the coffee ground is soaked with water, right? So you can see that it's blooming, right? The blooming stage will take about 30 seconds. Right, let's continue to pour. Right, since we use about 30 grams of coffee beans, right, I'm aiming about 1:15 ratio. So I'm aiming for about 450 grams of water. Okay, it's about 450 grams. So I'll give you a swirl. Right, so that I'll try to achieve a sort of flat coffee bed at the end. Right, the whole process will finish in about 2.5 minutes. Right, so you can see the water has been completely drawn down. Right, so let's try the coffee. Right, so you can see the color is really very beautiful. Right. Right, cheers. Wow, it's very floral, very bright. He has very nice acidity inside. It's very fruity. It's really a great cup. I hope you are here with me. I can make you a cup. So I think that's all I have for you today. So this is a very easy bean to cup. So you can see I can complete the roasting. I can complete the roasting all the way to the making of coffee in about 30 minutes, right? So this can be easily done at home, right? Okay, so if you like my video, do consider subscribing to my channel, right? And do like my click like and share button, right? And I'll see you again, right? Thank you for watching.